Hello, and welcome to Takes One to Write One. I'm Katherine Arcady, and I'm a writer. However, my characters are everything but. While research gives me information about their jobs and lifestyles, it doesn't give me the first-hand experience needed to write a well-rounded character. So I created this podcast where I invite people on to talk about their jobs, their hobbies, or their beliefs, because it takes one to write one. This is part 2 of a 2-part series for motorcycle clubs. I'm talking to Todd, who has been part of a motorcycle club for so long and performed so many ranks that he's become a lifer in the club. Let's continue to learn about what it's like to be in a motorcycle club, because it takes one to write one. Are there such things as posers with the guys that have the motorcycles that have like leather jackets but no patches sort of thing?
I wouldn't say we don't call them posers. We just call them weekend warriors because this is our lifestyle. We do it 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You know, some of these guys are just, they work a job through the week, and on the weekends they put their leathers on, and they're which is cool. There's nothing bad about that, but they don't live the same kind of hardcore lifestyle we are. This is our life. This isn't a hobby. It isn't for fun. This is, life. So, my guys take it a little bit more extreme and serious.
That makes sense. What gets you excited about the motorcycle club?
When I was hurt in 2007, I got into an accident. Someone hit me. When I was down, they paid my bills. They made sure, everything was paid for and taken care of. And, any need that I had that needed to be taken care of, they made sure to find a way to take care of it. So,
Follow-up question. What about it drains you? Like, is there something where it's like, I don't want to do this today, but you got to do it anyway?
I would say what drains me.
Or like a least favorite thing to do?
There is, because if I'm doing it, then I'm at a situation in life where I can do whatever I want. So if I'm doing it, it's because I want to be there doing it. I'm not doing it because I have to. I would say there's nothing. I regret nothing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Can we talk about you being a lifer and what that means?
Yeah. So, and again, in most motorcycle clubs, after so many years of being in the club, you're not expected to be at every function and be at every meeting and stuff. You get a little bit of leeway. It's like the club saying, thank you for being a long member. Here is your status of honorary or a lifer. And now the same rules that apply to the new guys do not apply to me. I don't have to show up for every meeting, every function, stuff like that.
Would you say that being a part of the club, you get a full range of emotions, like as extreme of a happiness you get is the same extreme of sadness that you find?
Yeah. For example, me and the club were on a pretty big run. We had maybe 50, 60 members with us in one of our packs going down the highway, having a time of our life. And a couple of the guys start splitting off to go home. And, from the time I got there till that second, it was a very, very good time. Smiling with my brothers. And then you get a phone call 15 minutes later, and one of the guys that took off to head home out of the pack, you find out they got hit. Wow. And they don't exist anymore. And then you go from being the most extreme happy, enjoying your day, to now, you have to figure out about burying your club brother.
Damn. Now, going off with, figuring out the burial and whatnot, would you mind talking a little about how you take on, some responsibilities with that?
Yeah, being in the funeral business for many years, working for multiple funeral homes and stuff, assisting in embalmings and other things like that. a lot of the people don't know how it works. And, sometimes the families don't have a lot of money. So I know enough to navigate the families through the channels of what to pay, where to go. I'm friends with a couple funeral directors that will, take care of us, do what we want and stuff. So I just have the connections. Just like if I had a plumbing problem in the club, I know a brother who's a plumber. I would reach out to him, and then he would use his connections to help me out. And it's the same thing. And that's what a club is. A club is full of people with different skills, different backgrounds in their life. You got some guys that redo cars. You have guys that are electricians and plumbers and HVAC technicians. So we take care of each other. When you have a problem, you call a brother, and, everyone isn't always there for you. You learn who's good and who's bad, but a majority of the people, I can make a phone call right now and have 50 people at your door in 15, 20 minutes, willing to take care of any problem that I have. Flat tire, need a ride, I need some money, anything.
Yeah.
These guys are willing to take care of me.
Absolutely.
Sometimes better than family.
And I'd like to take this time to reiterate that the members of the club, they are HVAC plumbers, they're upstanding citizens in society that are doing stuff. It's not just...
Yeah, every club has bad apples.
Sure.
Like, for example, the police department. You have, 200-300 officers in a department, and 2 or 3 of them are corrupt, and you find out they're doing some shady stuff. Well, you don't blame the whole organization and pin everyone as criminals. That's what happens in a lot of motorcycle clubs. Motorcycle clubs are not designed to do criminal stuff. They're not designed to, be a menace to society. But the problem is you get men who join these clubs who bring problems into the club. You know what I'm saying, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So you just have to weed the bull crap out. Once you weed it out, push it down, down the line, you can weed out the bad members and keep the good guys,
I would struggle to call any of your brothers bad apples. There are folk with, criminal records that are perhaps coming back from jail. Is that reception back into the club like, hey, brother, good to have you back?
It's like they never left. It's like they never left. And I'm not saying now society deems some people as bad. We have laws on the books that I guess what you can say is people like me, we live outside of the norm. Most social laws you have on the books, anyone can get in trouble. You could do anything and catch a felony. Turn the wrong way on the street. Traffic violations if you don't pay your money. So society deems guys as bad actors, bad apples. I don't. I just deem it as, you doing what you need to do in life.
So the club dinners, I've luckily been around to participate in them. Your brothers can cook, man. What do these community meals mean to you?
So a lot of the times you'll come around is because we'll have a benefit for a club brother who passed, or it'll be one of our parties. We offer, food. What my club is known for is our food. Yeah. We just don't order stuff out. I mean, it's home cooked stuff. We like to eat. Who doesn't like to eat? And eat good.
How often do these benefits come around? Is it a regular thing?
Just, whenever someone comes to us and they need some help, we're always willing to help the community. It's one of those things to where my guys are the guys that like to help. They go out of their way to do things for people. They just wear a patch. That's the only thing that makes them different. They ride a motorcycle. That's it.
That's the only thing.
The only thing.
That's the only thing. That's beautiful. What foods do you yourself have in your refrigerator?
Okay, you want me to tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
You had a party, a birthday party. At that birthday party, the lady who is my friend asked me, hey, can you bring me some sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, listen, girl, you're lucky if I even have toilet paper, let alone a bag of sugar. I'm a 39-year-old single dude with money and no women's supervision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Men like me are grown-ass children. You know, we don't live a long life. You need a good woman in your life to put you in your place. And literally in my fridge right now, I have a couple bottles of water, some cans of Coca-Cola, gallon of chocolate milk, gallon of white milk, some old eggs, some grapes and carrots should have thrown away. And that's it. That's it. You know, what's that say? A rolling boulder can't grow no moss. I'm always gone.
Always
I'm on
gone.
the move.
On the move.
You know what I'm saying? This sitting on this couch doing this podcast was probably the first time I've sat down without doing anything in 3 months. And that's not a joke.
No,
I go home, I go to sleep. This is the first time
you.
I've relaxed. And so I'm just, I'm your typical, I hate to use that, I'm the typical dude. Now I will try, if I got a girl or a girlfriend or something at my house, it's a different story. The cupboards are packed full of stuff. But what do I need that stuff for? I'm a one dude. I don't need all these ingredients. They go bad. I don't need 24 eggs. How am I going to eat 24 eggs in a week? 12 eggs. How am I going to eat 12 eggs in a week? You know what I'm saying? So
you're a busy guy. You got shit
man.
going on. But before we get too far away, what kind of sugar did you end up bringing to my party?
Powdered
sugar.
I don't know.
We rimmed cocktails with powdered sugar.
I just went and got sugar. Listen.
Hey.
I don't know the difference.
We asked for sugar.
It said sugar on the thing. No one specified.
That's on us. I guess that's on us.
When I went to the store, it said, and that's a typical guy thing. And I hate being the stereotypical, but it is.
Yeah.
When I go to a store, I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm getting. I'm not browsing. I'm getting my shit, and I'm gone. I'm not in there for 30 minutes to decide what kind of sugar I want. You know what I'm saying?
Not fucking around.
So
that's funny. As far as scents and smells and flavors, what sort of smells and scents and flavors do you associate with the club or with the motorcycle?
Well, you do not know what living is until you're on a motorcycle on a nice spring day and you're outside on your bike and you can smell the air and the flowers and the guy that cut the grass. When you're in your car, we call it a cage. When you're in your cage, your car, you can't smell the outside. You can't feel the wind on your face. When I'm on that motorcycle, I'm literally one with Mother Nature. I could smell the smells Mother Nature is cooking up. The trees, the pollen, the flowers. I can smell the chlorine in a pool that someone just, disinfected. The best thing is on a cool night is smelling fireplaces.
Ooh.
And the things you lose for riding in a car to a motorcycle it's night and day.
So even if I still have the windows down in, as you call it, my cage, I wouldn't get the smells that.
No,
one
I mean
does on a
you'll
bike.
smell a little bit, but when you're riding
in the face
and everything's just hitting you, it's a whole different. One day you'll learn. I'll have to take you for it.
Okay. Speaking of hitting you, do you get bugs in your face and all of that, or do you go
like
too
bugs
fast
from the
for it?
FBI? Kind of bugs? No, that's like. No, I mean, I had a June bug hit me in the face one time. Felt like someone punched me. I was doing about 60 up north, but no, I ran into a bird. Had a bird hit me.
Oh no.
Yeah, but nothing crazy. That was about it.
If you were to make a candle for your motorcycle club, what fragrances would it have?
Whatever a bad motherfucker smells like, that's what it would smell like. I don't know. We don't do candles. Candles not our thing.
No candles?
No candles.
No candles.
No candles.
All right. It would be a bad motherfucker scent.
Bad motherfucker scent.
All right. Deal. How important has your sixth sense been on your journey in this motorcycle club world?
Just I can fill out bullshit. When someone's bullshitting me, that's my new sixth sense is, and I'm usually pretty correct on it. Not always, but I can tell if someone's bullshitting me or not.
Is that a matter of, has that evolved throughout the years and like grown, or were you able to clock it from the get-go?
Think about it. I deal with hundreds of grown men for
Mm.
years and years and years. Debates and meetings and talking about stuff, and you just learn to navigate that world.
What's something that you had to learn on the road? Like you couldn't hear it from a brother that said it this one time. You had to learn it for yourself.
Um, Man, really, really nothing. I can't think of anything
Okay.
because everything these guys are all older than me in the club,
Mm.
so they've taught me. They talked to me. They trained me.
They
so
set you up for
yeah,
success.
they set me up for success. Yep,
That's
correct.
good.
Yep.
Because I imagine it's not the prerogative for the older brothers, for lack of a better term, to leave the younger ones floundering. You want to set them up for
Yep.
success.
Yep.
Huh. That's good. Murphy's Law states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. What's something that is perhaps often overlooked or forgotten when it comes to motorcycle clubs?
That we are just like you. We have families. We go to work. We pay our taxes. We just don't take no shit. We don't. You're not gonna. We don't take society's bullshit. You know. You can cram it down everyone else's throats, but you're not gonna do it to us.
Mm.
We're immersed in our own little world that we care about, but we're also willing to help people and stuff like that. Just let us do our thing. We don't bother you, don't bother us. You want to bother us, we'll bother you. This is how it works.
It seems to be the continuing theme.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have like a rule book or legislation amongst the club that you have to follow?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a specific name for that?
Yes.
Valid.
We are as democratic as you're going to get when it comes to being a pro-American organization. That is us. We vote our members in 51% in my club rules. That's how it is. We are more democratic than the United States government. And
Not that it boggles my mind because I've like been there to see it happening, but like it's kind of unexpected from an outsider view that it would be so democratic.
yeah, we're not communists. We're not dictators. Every club is set up a little bit different, but a majority of them, the membership is voted in, and that's who, that's the membership. Just like the United States Constitution, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. That's how our club operates.
Rad. What advice do you have for individuals that are kind of aspiring to join a motorcycle club?
Just make sure it's what you want.
Hmm.
Have everything in order. Your family, your job. There's a lot of good brothers out there, even in other clubs. You just have to pick out who you want to be a part of and who and stuff like that.
Is that a matter of like, for lack of like a better situation, like how fraternities they do rush where it's like, do you want to be a part of this one or this one or this one? Is that how people like find the motorcycle clubs that they want to talk to?
No, it's usually someone a friend, a family member. That's usually how guys get in. They've been around, hung out at bars. So it's there's no, you don't walk up to a door and knock and, I don't want to be a member of this club. No, come down to some parties, get to know some of the guys, come probate, hang out. If we think you're material, you become one of us.
Yeah.
If not, you could still be a friend.
Sure.
Come around during our parties and stuff.
If somebody were to come up to you while you're, I don't know, not at a club affiliated thing and say, hey, I see that you're part of this. Is that something that you would have a conversation, or is that just not a time or place?
I would just tell them to come hang out, get to know some of the brothers. That's it.
Right.
You know, nothing really more to it than that. People like you, they'll invite you to join. You know, or become a probate. If they don't like you, you won't get the opportunity.
If they don't like you, will they say so?
Oh yeah, my guys are blunt. They don't match their words.
What's something that you think most people in motorcycle clubs might like changed about the field?
You know, no one's ever expressed their feelings on it to me. You know, I think because being in a club world, there's so many different types of clubs out there to suit every type of person that if you don't agree with a club, there's another club out there that you will agree with.
Oh.
So that's what the beautiful thing about the club world is there's some kind of club out there that is going to suit your needs. You know, if you don't have time to go out of state and do runs and this and that, and just a weekend, you know, rider, go join a riding club. You know, they're not as strict as it with that we are.
Sure. And I guess that would make the most sense with like the probates, as you call it, or the prospects, where they're like kind of looking around. Once you become a member of a motorcycle club and then you find out maybe it's not for you, is there like, are you allowed to then go to a different club, or is it like you're in it for life? You get, you know, your tattoos sanded off of you before you can go to another club.
Well, very complicated. This is America. You do whatever you want. You leave, go do whatever you want. But you know, some guys will have it harder than the other guys to, you know, move on and stuff like that. Because it's a dedication. They become, you know, a member of a club, you know.
You've mentioned that going online for information about motorcycle clubs, you'll find some stuff that's true and some stuff that's not true, and to recommend going to other clubs or going to clubs to get more information. Is there anywhere else where people could find information, specifically writers finding information on motorcycle clubs?
Yeah, you know, Wikipedia, news outlets, stories, your typical. There's something that clubs have been around for so long, that stuff's been out there that, you know, talks about what clubs have been accused of and stuff like that, you know.
The information is out there.
You can look at a club as like a union hall. Just a bunch of guys, like-minded guys, you know, that ride motorcycles, that want to get together and hang out with each other and talk, you know, crap about their wives. And, you know, it's a guy thing, you know.
It's not so different than any other club.
No.
That's the whole gist that I'm getting from this conversation. Y'all are just regular folk. I think, would you agree that it's like the media and entertainment that like vilifies and like adds this mystification to it?
Well, you know, when it comes to motorcycle clubs, it's, you know, they've pushed the envelope on that with, you know, what to talk about, what not to talk about. Media always chooses to pick the most, you know, salacious story, you know, about a club and run with it, you know. So for all the good that clubs do, it's the bad that always stands out.
Ain't that some shit? Are there things with motorcycle clubs that have gone out of date? Or would you see the same sort of stuff happening today that happened in the 50s?
Well, you know, back in the day, a lot of clubs would wear like swastikas and German stuff. And that wasn't that they believed in, you know, Nazism. It's just that back then, you know, the guys would wear this stuff to kind of like create a thing with the public that the public would want to stay away from them and stuff. Because he's, you know.
Is it safe to assume that the swastikas and that sort of paraphernalia have been banned?
Yeah, it's you know, a lot of guys in clubs back in the day, you know, they wore that stuff to be rebellious, to be, you know, stand out on the outside of like, ooh, you know, they're scary. But over the years, it's become less of a thing that people would wear, pretty much.
You've been involved with motorcycle clubs for 18 years. What have you seen the most change in?
Man, the government. The government, how they want to treat clubs. They want to treat every club like we're like terrorists, and they don't, want us to just allow us to associate, freely with other people, you know. But I would say that technology in the motorcycles is one thing.
Sure.
Yep, that's been a lot.
What sort of tech in a motorcycle has changed?
Flat screen TVs and radios.
Really?
Oh yeah, speakers. Just a lot of stuff. Speed, power, stuff like that.
What does one need a flat screen TV in a motorcycle?
Well, it's a radio with a flat screen panel.
I
Some people install where they can watch DVDs. Why you're right on a road? Why wouldn't you want to watch the greatest DVD that they put out, or VHS, whatever you're into?
Could you imagine a VHS player being hooked up?
I'm sure there's one out there.
With these long rides that y'all go on, what do you pack for those?
One pair of pants, underwear. I like shooting, so I bring my guns, bullets and guns and stuff. An extra helmet in case you meet a fine young lady somewhere at a rest stop or something. But yeah, besides that, just your typical travel bag. Yeah,
Nice.
nothing really fancy about that.
Speaking about the ladies, how do they love the motorcycle clubs?
We do pretty good. We we do pretty good for ourselves. This world is ran by sex and rock and roll, and you have musicians, rock bands, where they're making music about guys like us. They make music about men like me and what we do. And, just that's all. This is something everyone knows. You got a motorcycle. It's you're good.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Sure.
Be respectful. But, if you want to get your numbers, up, join the club. It helps. Like I said, there's a lot of family guys that are dedicated and loyal and stuff in the club world, and just like anything, you have your guys that are a little bit more freer with their bodies. So.
I've noticed when I go to the clubhouse, first of all, everyone is super respectful, but more so because I'm walking in with you.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Don't talk. But if I were to bring a friend, you've mentioned like the guys would ask.
This
like, hey,
this is a problem with society. Everyone has an opinion of what they think it's like. They think they're going to walk in with their girl, and their girl's going to get taken by another guy, and we're beating our women and our wives and girlfriends. It's not the case. The stuff like that happen. It does.
Sure.
I'm not going to deny it, but from my experiences, the women that hang around with club guys are the happiest, most protected, free spirited people you can come across.
Sure.
We live we're like the cowboys on the horses in the Wild Wild West. On the open plains. We do what we want, but with everything in society, you don't hurt women, you don't hurt children, you don't harm animals, you don't harm the elderly. If a couple of clubs get together and punch each other's faces every once in a while because they don't like each other, it is what it is. But when it comes to society and people who aren't in the clubs, you respect them. And now if somebody disrespects you, you got to have a talk with them.
Yeah.
Stuff
Is it
like that.
have a talk or have a talk?
Whatever way you take it,
Going off of my question about things going out of date, what is something with motorcycle clubs that is perhaps future proof, or it could be 200, 300 years from now and it will still always be part of the club?
Club names,
Mm.
clubs, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think of every kind of name in that. There's a club out there called that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's, you know, you got to think about motorcycles. 300 years, they're going to have flying motorcycles. You don't know. The motorcycle is the excuse for like men like me to get together.
Okay.
The excuse for us to get together is the motorcycle. Back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you had a thing called community. Neighbors would take care of each other and help each other out. And, you know, if a family didn't have food, they would feed them, didn't have something. The community stepped up. Mm-hmm. We don't have that no more. So I guess it's a yearning. Men are very tribalistic. Mm-hmm. We have to belong to things. Bowling leagues and dart leagues and motorcycle clubs and car clubs, and just we're very tribalistic because evolution has taught you will survive better being 5 than you will being 1.
Absolutely.
So, you know, having 5 guys have your back, and not just have your back in the sense of like get into a fight, but have your back through life.
Yeah.
You know, you can't afford Christmas this year for your kids because you lost your job or something. Come to your brothers. We'll pass a hat around. Next thing you know, you got $400 or $500 in a hat. Go buy your kids something. You know, your relative has cancer. We've gotten together we just get together and we do things. And do we live somewhat on the outside of normal societal laws? We do. But again, we are very good people, and you don't mess with us, we don't mess with you. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, live your life. Live and let live, you know.
I love that. If you read blank, if you read something in a book or saw something on TV regarding motorcycle clubs, what would that thing be where you would know that the writer did their research?
There's a movie called The Lincoln Lawyer.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it.
With Matthew McConaughey?
Yep.
Yeah.
You've seen the club guys pull up and stuff. You know, that held the torch pretty good about how they, you know, conducted themselves. Sons of Anarchy, you know, a lot of it is definitely club protocol, but a lot of it is exaggerated.
Sure.
You know, it's a TV show, but when it comes to motorcycle clubs, whenever a movie's made, it's like these guys coming through town like Genghis Khan and just take over and take everyone's woman and fight and fuck and just create mayhem. And does parts of that have truth? Yes, but not to the exaggeration. Listen, everybody, I don't care who you are. Everyone wants to belong. Like, for example, the mafia. Everyone's so fascinated with the mafia. And the reason is because you're talking about a group that has power, and they're cool. They drive nice cars. They smell good. They got the pretty ladies. People respect them. People move out of their way. From the time of we crawled out of the ocean to now, it's about people want to hang out with you. Rock stars want to be you. They write songs about guys like us, you know. And I just see like some things in the news and stuff is a lot exaggerated. It's not, motorcycle clubs are not as crazy as the media predicts us as. But, you know, if we have to protect us and our own, we will, you know, stuff like that.
Does this kind of equate, and you've asked me this question before, to which I answered incorrectly, and you told me why, where you asked, is it better to be feared or respected? Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there's fear from others, but nothing but respect amongst your brothers?
So when you're a kid, your dad is your dad. You respect your dad because it's your dad. Okay. But that's not going to stop you from sneaking a candy bar. You know what's going to stop you from sneaking a candy bar out of the fridge? Is him smacking that ass. Because you fear of what he's going to do. You respect your dad. You might still do that thing you're not supposed to do. But out of fear of you being struck or yelled at or chastised, the fear is usually what stops people from doing something to you. I would rather someone fear me than respect me. Respect only goes so far. Fear goes a lot further.
Sure.
And when I say fear, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just that if you see me walking down the street and you thought you were going to be funny and slap me in the face or something, well, that little fear should kick in because guarantee you we're going to be fighting. You know? Yeah. So out of that fear, it comes respect. So it's a weird circle. You can go around on both those sayings, fear and respect, you know.
Sure. Do you experience that with your brothers?
My brothers, it's the fear of being kicked out of the club, fear of not being accepted, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But the respect that if I did do something wrong, that they would have enough respect for me to say, hey, you know, we're not, you know, going to do anything bad to you or, you know, kick you out or anything. We're going to give you another chance. You know, stuff like that.
You mentioned the fear of getting kicked out. Is that super possible with like anything, or does it take lengths
just
to
like
do
in
it?
society, you know, if you do, you know, something bad to a member, or you do, you know, you steal or anything, just like any other club, you know, you're no longer going to be a member. Sure. We can't trust you. You got to go. You know, go down the road. You know.
So without trust,
you need trust. You got to have trust. But you know, in a relationship, if me and you were in a relationship, you didn't trust me, I didn't trust you. There's no relationship there. There's nothing. There's no bond, no nothing. It's just two people in the same room. So you a lot of things in life carry over into the club world. Whatever you would, most stuff is common sense. Whatever you would do as a regular citizen and not a club member in life is how in the club world you're expected to act. And there's really not a lot of mysterious things about guys like me in clubs that, you know, you have to worry about. You know, it's the same stuff, common sense. You fuck my wife or my girlfriend, that's betrayal. You steal from me, you're betrayal. But no matter if me and you, say you're my friend, anything that you would want someone to do being not in a club is the same way in a club. Yeah. You don't steal. You don't cheat. You respect, you know, your brothers. You know, I'm not saying that the club world's perfect where everyone's walking around respecting each other and the club life is perfect, but the idea of it, like America, we have our problems. Greatest country in the world. The idea of what America is supposed to be is what makes it worth it. The idea of a club, the ideal of the principles, you don't mess around with someone else's wife or girlfriend. You don't steal. You show up when you give your word. You don't lie. That's the same thing that's expected out on the streets. We in a club look at society as you guys are the ones that are messed up because you guys don't go by the rules of what makes a good human being. So people are out here judging us for how we are, but we have more rules. Now think about this. We have the rules of society. We have the rules of the club. There's more rules and laws that we have to follow being in a club than it just being a regular person on the streets. Because inside the club, you have rules of how to conduct yourself, how to treat other club members. And I tell people when they make stories and movies about, you know, the crazy outlaw world of a motorcycle club. I'm like, what are you talking about? No one steals from each other here. No one's banging each other's wife or girlfriend. Nobody's lying. Nobody's saying they're going to be somewhere and doesn't show up. Most of the guys in the club, 99.9% of the guys, they go on beyond. We are looking at you guys like, oh my God, neighbors are fighting. Neighbors are family members killing each other, sleeping with each other's wives, lying to each other. You know what I'm saying? What we have is not nothing that's new. Society used to follow the guidelines that we put out there for our members. Society used to be what we were. We didn't change. You guys changed. And you look at us as the outlier to where 40, 50, 60 years ago, everything that my club stands for, you give your word, trust. That is what society used to be. And that's when clubs started in the 50s and 60s. And we kept that rolling. It's only society that has changed. And we are the ones looking out while you're looking in. And we're judging you. And we're judging people like you. Because in my world, if I call my brother in the middle of the night, 50-50 chance he comes. My blood brother, 50-50 chance he shows up. I call a club brother, 100% he shows up. So people out here looking in and judging us, but we're the same people we've been, and we're the same motherfuckers we've been forever. That's what I gotta say. So
that is so well put.
You never thought about it that way, did you?
No.
We're judging you guys. We didn't change. we're over here doing our own thing. We don't bother nobody. You know what I'm saying?
That is so well spoken. How you guys started the same way. You are still the same way. Better.
Society lost their way. Wow. My guys. And the beautiful thing about being in a club world is these guys taught me. They taught me how to be. And when I say be a man, it doesn't mean like be a man, you're better than a woman. But they taught me on how to be a young man in society. My dad wasn't really around so much. And I joined when I was 20 years old. And I'm surrounded by guys double my age, old enough to be my father. And they took me in. And when I had car problems, there to fix it. Yeah. Dad had tow my car, fix my bike. This is what you need to do. This is how you do it. Men, I don't share blood with, nothing. I don't share nothing with. But they took me in. And that's what if the human race ran their societies like how a motorcycle club runs it, with the rules and respect for each other and to look out for each other, it'd be a beautiful place to live in, Yeah. And I wouldn't say I'm scared. I don't like the word scared. But when I'm in the clubhouse, I'm safe. I'm comfortable. Yeah. When I go out into the real world, I just got back from New York City. No one looks at you in the face. People shove right past you. You could fall to the ground, and most people will walk over you. And, I mean, there's a lot of good people in New York, don't get me wrong. But majority of society doesn't care. And I guess it's just being a young man, finding a place to belong,
That's huge.
And stuff like that. So.
But it would be leagues better for you to find yourself involved with a motorcycle club with, for lack of a better term, like parental figures to like guide you, as opposed to finding your way in gangs where, sure, there are figures that guide you, but maybe not towards the direction that you would want.
So motorcycle club, people say motorcycle gang. Difference between gangs and clubs are gangs are formed to do illegal acts. Motorcycle clubs are clubs. There are clubs that sometimes criminals join, and they do their criminal stuff amongst the club. But the club does not exist. Any club, no matter what big club out there that the media and the news tries to put out there, there is not one motorcycle club that I know that exists for criminal activities. None of them. It's all about riding, brotherhood, and hanging out. Yeah, there's some bar fights in between there. between clubs. It even gets crazier than that sometimes amongst clubs. But what the club world's supposed to be is to respect each other and have a good time. Party. Have a good time. You work 9 to 5. Get on your motorcycle, go down to the clubhouse. If you drink, have a couple beers, listen to some music, eat some good food, hang out with your girl. That's it.
Yeah.
But society just, the human species, I like to say the human condition.
Mm.
The human condition, no matter, this club is going to hate that club. This race is going to hate that race. This group of people, these rich people are going to hate the poor people. It's just a big cycle. And you just got to find yourself where you fit in society in a peg. And I just wish the world could just leave us alone, just let us do our own thing, and that's what we do, and like I say, you don't bother us, we don't bother you. Simple as that. Common sense,
Do you foresee a time where you'll be unbothered by the government and society and outsiders?
Never. It's part of the human condition, we're pretty cool, awesome dudes, and people want to be a part of it. Who wouldn't want to be a part of a group of people that look after each other and hang out and laugh and talk shit to each other and do things together and watch, have each other's back? Who wouldn't want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And some people, because they can't be part of it, that's when they have to dismantle it. I love my country. I love my government.
Yeah.
Just sometimes people running that certain government, it's not so good. So many stories of club guys being railroaded by government, lying, the government blackmails them. It is what it is. It's the human condition. You don't have to be worried about, who you need to be worried about? It's not the clubhouse at the end of your street or the group of guys riding down the street on their Harleys. It's the drug dealers, the heroin addicts. It's the people in society that really need the help, the change of life. Why are you worried about what we're doing? We're not harming nobody. But while they're worrying about us, while people are looting CVS's and stuff, and they said, oh, okay, that's all right, and because they want to focus on us. It's just how society is. But there's enough documentaries out there if you want to invest as a writer.
Yeah.
You want to know how a club runs. Not one club all runs the same. Watch 10 movies. Read 10 books, and then come up to your own conclusion.
Okay. Anything's possible.
Everything's possible. Yeah.
That's really rad. I have one final question for you. If somebody wasn't in a motorcycle club, they would never believe what?
You're probably safer around us than you are around the police department. You'll be more protected around us than probably your own family members, because we don't have time for bullshit, but people sometimes they don't, they always ask us, why doesn't no one spray paint your clubhouse or break into the clubhouse and stuff? Because they other than fear, they do also respect, and they know what we're about. And we do give back to the community. People don't, they have these conceptions, but we do give back. And we don't do it for publicity, because even though all the good publicity we have, it's still overshadowed by all the bad stuff in society that society says we're about. So we don't do things for what the public thinks. We do things because it's the right thing to do,
Wow.
And that's just
what a wild concept for that show.
But yeah, like I said, people are like, bikers, they get into fights and they, get into, club wars and stuff like that. What part of human society where men get together that stuff doesn't happen? I mean, you have the fire department and the police officers in the same bar, and they get into a fight because they're part of different factions.
Yeah.
You have, the Marine Corps in a bar drinking. Then the Navy walks in, and the next thing you know, there's a big bar fight because of two different factions. It's not a club thing. It's not a motorcycle club thing. It's a human condition man thing. You know, I've watched, and this is no joke. I watched a polka, a group that does polka. You know, the music.
Yeah.
I watched a rival polka band walk into a bar that another polka band was at drinking. You know, they're 8, 12, deep, in these bands, these polka bands. There's a lot of instruments and stuff. And just because they were rivals, and they're not violent people, 30 minutes later, they're smashing each other over the heads with beer bottles, and because they just,
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the human condition, and don't look bad at motorcycle clubs just because of who we are. We're just real. Up front, you know who we are. We don't lie. Most people will lie to you and then be someone else. I'll tell you straight up front. You want to be cool, we be cool. You want a problem, I'll give you a problem. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it.
Well, that seems wildly simple. And Todd, you have definitely added some valuable perspective to motorcycle clubs for me. So thank you so, so much for sitting down and talking to me about this.
You are welcome.
This has been the second part of a 2-part series for motorcycle clubs. I hope you learned more. I know I did. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for new interviews. Follow me at Takes One to Write One on socials, find research material on my YouTube, and vibe to my writer-centric playlists on Spotify. Until then, I'm Katherine Arcady, and remember, it takes one to write one.